The pursuit of equality is a noble and necessary endeavor. It is a journey that requires the collective effort of all individuals, regardless of their background or status. The essence of true equality lies in the recognition and appreciation of our shared humanity. However, let us be wary of movements that champion the rights of one group over another. Such approaches, while well-intentioned, can inadvertently create divisions and foster resentment. It is crucial to understand that elevating one group at the expense of another does not lead to genuine equality. True equality cannot be achieved through division and preferential treatment. It requires a broader perspective, one that recognizes the inherent worth of every individual. This perspective must be inclusive, embracing the diversity that enriches our societies. It requires a broader perspective, one that recognizes the inherent worth of every individual. Let us strive to create an environment where mutual respect and understanding are the norms. This means acknowledging the unique experiences and challenges faced by different groups while working towards common goals. We live in a world rife with inequality. The disparities between the privileged and the marginalized are stark and pervasive. These inequalities manifest in various forms, from economic disparities to social and political exclusion. Discrimination based on race, religion, gender, and other arbitrary factors persists. These forms of discrimination are deeply ingrained in our societies and continue to perpetuate cycles of injustice and inequality. It is imperative that we address these issues head-on. Addressing these injustices separately creates a hierarchy of victimhood. This hierarchy can lead to competition among marginalized groups, undermining the solidarity needed to achieve true equality. Let us recognize that all forms of discrimination are interconnected and must be tackled collectively. This is not a recipe for a harmonious society. A society built on the principles of equality and justice must be one where all individuals are valued and respected. This requires a commitment to dismantling the structures that perpetuate inequality and building new systems that promote fairness and inclusion. It is a recipe for resentment and conflict. When people feel that their struggles are being ignored or minimized, it breeds frustration and tension. To avoid this, let us ensure that our efforts to promote equality are inclusive and comprehensive. To forge a truly equitable world, we need a unified movement. This movement should be grounded in the principles of justice, fairness, and mutual respect. It should transcend national boundaries and cultural differences, uniting people from all walks of life in the pursuit of a common goal. This movement should transcend the limitations of identity politics. While it is important to acknowledge and address the unique challenges faced by different groups, let us also recognize that our ultimate goal is to create a society where everyone is treated with dignity and respect. It should be grounded in the understanding that we are all members of the same human family. Our differences should be celebrated, not used as a basis for division. By embracing our shared humanity, we can build a more inclusive and equitable world. Our differences should not blind us to our shared humanity. Each of us brings unique perspectives and experiences to the table, and it is through this diversity that we can find strength and resilience. By working together, we can overcome the challenges that divide us and create a brighter future for all. We all deserve to live in a world where we are treated with dignity and respect. This is not just a lofty ideal, but a fundamental human right. It is the foundation upon which a just and equitable society is built. Let us work together to create a world where equality is a fundamental right enjoyed by all. This requires a collective commitment to justice, fairness, and mutual respect. By standing together, we can build a future where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. While well-intentioned, single-issue movements often fall short of their goals. By focusing narrowly on the grievances of one particular group, they risk alienating potential allies. This can lead to a backlash from those who feel excluded or ignored. Such movements can become myopic, losing sight of the broader context of inequality. For example, some feminist movements have been criticized for their exclusive focus on women's experiences. While women face unique challenges, men are disadvantaged in certain areas too. Ignoring these disparities risks deepening the divide between genders. The same can be said for movements focused solely on racial equality. Discrimination based on religion, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status is just as harmful as racism. A truly effective equality movement must address all forms of bigotry and prejudice. Progress for one group should not come at the expense of another. Let us embrace a more inclusive vision of equality, recognizing the interconnectedness of our struggles. The idea that we can achieve equality by dividing ourselves into smaller identity groups is a dangerous illusion. This approach assumes our differences are greater than our similarities. It ignores the fact that we are all human beings with the same basic needs and desires. When we focus solely on our differences, we lose sight of our common humanity. This can lead to a spiral of division and conflict. Moreover, the politics of division often leads to a victimhood mentality. True progress requires us to transcend the limitations of identity politics. We must recognize that we're all part of one human family. Only then can we build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Identity politics, while often well-intentioned, can be a slippery slope. It can lead to a form of tribalism, where individuals are judged by their group rather than their character. This creates a climate of suspicion and mistrust. Furthermore, identity politics can silence dissent and stifle debate. Those who question the prevailing orthodoxy are often labeled as bigots and attacked. This creates a chilling effect on free speech. A healthy society requires open and honest dialogue. Instead of focusing on our differences, we should strive to find common ground. We all want to live in a world free from violence, poverty, and oppression. These are the goals that should unite us, not divide us. Despite our differences, we all share a fundamental human experience. We are born, experience joy and suffering, form bonds of love and friendship, and face our mortality. Recognizing this shared humanity is essential to building a more just and equitable world. Universal equality stems from this understanding. It asserts that all human beings are deserving of equal rights and opportunities. This does not mean we are all the same, nor does it deny individual differences. When we approach the world from a place of shared humanity, we are more likely to act with compassion and empathy. This is the foundation upon which we can build a truly equitable society. It is time to move beyond divisive rhetoric and embrace a more inclusive vision of humanity. To move towards a future where universal equality is a reality, let us build bridges of understanding and empathy. This requires engaging in open and honest dialogue with those who hold different views. It means listening with the intent to understand, rather than to respond. We must also be willing to challenge our own biases and prejudices. Education is crucial. Let us teach future generations about the importance of empathy, compassion, and respect for all people. Building a future on common ground requires a conscious effort from each of us. It is not enough to simply pay lip service to the ideals of equality and justice. We must be willing to put in the hard work of building relationships and advocating for a more equitable world. While systemic change is essential to achieving universal equality, individual responsibility is equally important. Each of us has a role to play in creating a more just and compassionate world. This begins with how we treat one another in our daily lives. Let us stand up against injustice and discrimination, even when it is uncomfortable. Let us challenge prejudice and bigotry wherever we encounter it. Furthermore, let us be mindful of our own language and behavior. By being more aware of our own biases, we can avoid unintentionally contributing to the problem. Universal equality is something we must build together, one interaction at a time. By embracing our individual responsibility, we can create a ripple effect that will be felt for generations. The pursuit of universal equality is not merely a political or social goal, it is a moral imperative. It stems from the belief that all human beings are created equal and endowed with inherent dignity and worth. Denying this truth diminishes us all. When we tolerate inequality, we allow injustice to flourish. We create a society where some are privileged while others are marginalized. This is not only unjust, it is unsustainable. We have a moral obligation to create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. This means dismantling systems of oppression and creating new structures that promote equality. We must demand justice, fairness, and equality for all. The journey towards a more just and equitable world is a long and arduous one, but it is a journey worth taking. It requires courage, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the principles of equality and justice. It demands that we confront uncomfortable truths, and challenge our own biases. We must remember that progress is not inevitable. It requires constant vigilance and a willingness to fight for what is right. The pursuit of universal equality is a noble and necessary endeavor. Let us move forward with courage, determination, and an unwavering belief in the power of humanity to create a more just and equitable world for all.